All right, let's talk about your home. It's more than just walls and a roof, right? It's your space, your sanctuary. But what happens when some uninvited, furry guests decide to move in? Well, today we are going to dive deep into the world of rodent and wildlife control to help you make sure your home stays your home. Let's get right into it.
You know the sound. That faint scratching or scurrying you hear late at night, coming from the attic or somewhere in the walls. It's the kind of noise that sends a little shiver down your spine. And, it's usually the very first sign that you are not alone in the house.
So, why this sudden invasion? Why are these critters showing up on your doorstep, especially in growing areas like McKinney? Well, it's pretty simple, actually. As we build and expand our communities, we're basically setting up shop right in their backyard. So they have to adapt, and suddenly your cozy, quiet attic starts looking like a five-star hotel.
And here's the thing, it's a year-round problem. When it gets cold, your house is the perfect warm getaway. But when that summer sun is just blazing hot, well, that same attic offers some much-needed cool shade. The bottom line is they are always looking for what your home naturally provides, shelter from the extremes.
Okay, so if you want to outsmart these little intruders, you've got to start thinking like them. And that all begins with figuring out just how in the world they're getting in. And trust me, you'd be shocked to learn it's often through the tiniest, most overlooked little spots.
Get this, a mouse can squeeze its entire body through a hole the size of a dime. A dime! And a rat, all it needs is an opening the size of a quarter. It's kind of crazy, but it just goes to show you how incredibly persistent these animals are. They don't need a welcome mat, they just need a tiny opportunity.
And these right here? These are the hidden highways into your home. I mean, think about your own house for a second. Are there any little gaps where the roof meets the wall? Maybe a tiny tear in a vent screen? Heck, even a little bit of worn-out weather stripping on your garage door is basically an open invitation.
All right, so we know why they come and how they get in, but what if they're already inside? Now it's time to put on your detective hat, because we're going to learn how to spot the clues they can't help but leave behind.
This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because catching an infestation early, that can be the difference between a pretty simple fix and a huge, expensive headache. The signs are often really subtle at first, but they are absolutely there if you know what you're looking for.
So, what are these signs? Keep your eyes peeled for droppings, especially in those out-of-the-way corners. Look for those telltale chew marks on anything from wood to wires. And, trust your nose. A weird, musty smell can be a dead giveaway. These aren't just little hints. This is the smoking gun.
Look, a few scratching sounds might just seem like a minor annoyance, but an infestation is basically a ticking time bomb. The real dangers are the ones you can't see, and believe me, they can put both your home and your family at serious risk.
This really lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the stuff that's just annoying. But on the other, that's where the real danger is. We're talking about rodents gnawing on live electrical wires, which is a massive fire hazard, or droppings spreading bacteria through your home. I mean, is that really a risk worth taking?
So what's the actual fix? It's not about just setting a couple of traps and hoping for the best. The real long-term strategy the pros use is called exclusion. It's all about shifting from just reacting to a problem to proactively making sure it never happens again. To put it simply, exclusion is basically pest-proofing your home from top to bottom. It means a super thorough inspection to find every single potential entry point, no matter how small, and then sealing it up with materials that pests just can't chew through. The goal is simple. Once they're out, they stay out. For good.
So, how's it done? Well, the process is incredibly detailed. It all starts with that top-to-bottom inspection, finding every single weak spot. Then those gaps get sealed with heavy-duty materials. Finally, vulnerable areas get reinforced. The end result? Your home is basically a fortress.
Of course, the strategy has to change based on who the intruder is. You can't treat a big raccoon the same way you treat a tiny mouse. For those smaller pests, it's all about sealing up those little holes. But for the bigger animals, the focus shifts to safe removal and then repairing the serious damage they've likely caused.
Now, you might be tempted to try and tackle this yourself, but this is really one of those jobs that's best left to the pros. They have the experience to find those entry points you'd never see, and they know exactly which materials will actually last. They're not just treating the symptoms, they're curing the problem at its source.
So, you ready to take some action? Here's your checklist. Think of it as a little homework. Trim any tree branches that are too close to your roof. Make sure your trash cans have tight lids. Do a quick walk around every now and then to check for cracks. A little bit of effort now can save you so much trouble down the road.
And this quote right here really just hits the nail on the head. Consistent maintenance helps eliminate the conditions that attract rodents and wildlife. See, it's not about reacting when you hear a noise, it's all about preventing them from ever seeing your home as an option.
So, what's the bottom line here? Protecting your home isn't a one-and-done kind of thing. It's an ongoing commitment. And those little sounds you might be tempted to ignore could actually be a major warning sign. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. Your home is your sanctuary, but is it truly protected?